Hey guys, I am Harsh. Welcome back to another video on Law School 101. Today we will be doing part 3 of Courses of Action, which will be the last part of this chapter. So, without wasting any further time, let's start. So, as I always say, before I solve the question myself, you are supposed to read it and try solving it yourself. After this, we can solve it together. So, having said that, I will start this question. So, the statement says that most of those who study in premier medical colleges in India migrate to developed nations for better prospects in their professional pursuits. So, this was a question from CLAT 2018. So, I thought of including this. Let's read the courses of action. So, let me just explain about the problem. It's saying that the people who are studying in the top medical colleges are going abroad because they are getting better job opportunities and stuff like that. And this problem is called as brain drain. So the elite students, instead of serving their own nation, they are deciding to serve the other nations that are offering better opportunities and maybe salary. So it is very common in India. So what can we do about it? First one says that all the students joining these colleges should be asked to sign a bond to the effect that they will remain in India for at least 10 years after they complete their education. Um, this one is not valid because it's infringing upon the freedom to move abroad of the students. So the students should have the right to move abroad if they want to. And I read it in the news recently that Supreme Court said that right to travel abroad is a basic human right. That means it is under Article 21 of our Constitution. So anything that is against our laws or the Constitution will not be a valid course of action. So we can eliminate one. Second says that all those who desire to settle in the developed nations should be asked to pay the entire cost of their education which the government subsidize. So if the government has subsidized the cost of their education and it's removing that subsidization, then I think it is fair. It will um, reduce the number of students who want to move abroad because subsidy in higher education is not a compulsion. Okay, so the government can remove that subsidy, and since the student who want to study abroad are considered as economically, higher, so I think it would be justified removing subsidy in higher education. Also note that subsidy is not necessary if the matter is higher education. So one will not follow, but two can follow. So the answer will be only two follows. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Okay, so this is a question type where you get more than two courses of actions, and the options are also then slightly different. So nothing much different here. It appeared in CLAT 2018 as well. Let's try doing this. Official data show more number of people died in 2016 than in 2015, and UP and Tamil Nadu accounted for largest fatalities. So what can we do about it? Um, Option number one, course of action number one. If you notice that course of action number one is written, but in the options it's not even mentioned here. So I don't think there is any use of reading this, and even if we read this, we know for sure that it is a wrong course of action. Okay, So we can skip reading this one. We can directly move to second course of action, which says that government should take steps towards creating awareness among the public about road safety. So this is a very perfect course of action. It is mandatory to take steps to create awareness. So whatever option that we will select, it must have two. So that means it can be only one or two. These two won't be viable. So now we don't have to take the time to read statement number 3. We can directly head to statement number 4. And if it is correct, if it is viable, then we will mark 1. Or if it is not, then we will go to 2. So it says that to eliminate accidents completely, the government should impose stringent punishments for traffic violations. Um, this has some problems in it. One, that it is saying that the punishments would definitely work, which is not always true. And second is that it cannot eliminate accidents completely. Like you cannot go to 0% accident rate just because there are stringent punishments. So it is almost impossible to eliminate it completely. Okay. So we are only left with option number 2. That would be our answer. That is only 2 follows. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. Um, I think I've done a mistake. This should be question number 12. Anyways, no problem. Let's read the statement. It says that inflation is rising again. Very small statement, but a very big problem. So, what can we do about the inflation? Inflation basically means that the prices are rising. That's it. So, what can we do about it? Effort should be made to find out the cause of this. Yes, definitely we need to know why the inflation is going on. There are a variety of factors that can lead to inflation. If we need to solve it, then we need to know what is actually causing it. 2 says that fiscal deficit should be controlled. Now, fiscal deficit is also something, if it is increased, then it can lead problems in our um, currency. So if we have more fiscal deficit, then we will have to print more currency, and that could lead to inflation rising all the over more. So fiscal deficit should always be controlled. Okay. Special efforts should be made towards drip irrigation technology. This is a bit too specific. What We don't know if drip irrigation is causing the problem. It is very specific. I don't think that it's like saying the class is very noisy and we are just silent. We just scolding just one child. It's as it's a very specific course of action, and the problem is too general. So the general problem must have general solutions, like fiscal deficit, that is the leading cause of inflation always. So the answer to this question will be only 1 and 2 follow. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 13. After the success of films such as Hum Aapke Hai Kaun and DDLJ, good music and clean entertainment are back again. Okay, very good. As such, it is not appearing like a problem, but they still can give statements like these, and we have to find what courses of action are preferred. So one says that movies having good music and clean entertainment should be promoted. Yes, they definitely should be promoted. Good things always need to be promoted, okay, no matter what. They should be rewarded and they should be promoted. Okay. And since they should always be also be rewarded, So second will also follow because mention should be awarded for the clean entertainment, of course. Three says that government should ban movies that are not like these two films. Um, no, why should we ban the movies? So if there are other good movies like Swadesh, we cannot ban them, right? Although they are not like these two films, but there's Swadesh is still a good movie. So we cannot, justify banning the films like these. Okay, very arbitrary thing. So the answer will be one and two follows, and that would be it. Now we move to question number 13. Although launched with great fanfare, private mutual funds have performed badly. Okay, private mutual funds are not doing good. What can we do? They should be banned. First course of action. Um, no, why should, if they are not performing well, that does not mean that they should just get away with it. If there is scope of improving private mutual funds, then obviously explore that opportunity first. Operations of mutual funds should be controlled by the government. Um, why will that, how will that, ensure that it will lead to success of private mutual funds? Because we already know that government ruins even those things that are running well. So I don't think two will follow, and we don't know about the government's credibility. Mutual funds should be given the government's protection. So controlling is a different thing, but yes, if they are performing badly, then government should definitely protect them. So answer would be only three follow. Okay, so one thing I want to discuss is the difference between these two options. Okay, I wanted to discuss this. So when we say that none follows, we mean to say that neither this course of action is good, neither this one is good, or neither and nor this one is good. And when we say none of these, we mean that none of these options are good. So if our answer is 1 and 3 follows and it's not present in these options, so then we will go for none of these. But if none of the options here are viable, then we will go for none follows. Okay, so that is the difference between these two. Don't get confused if they come together. Okay, so I hope you guys learned something new here today. Don't forget to subscribe us on YouTube and also follow us on Instagram for daily IGTV updates. We will meet soon in a new video, and most importantly, take care of yourself.